Hare Krishna. This video is in response to an email that I received some time back, a rather disturbing email. It was written by Mataji that I'm not personally acquainted with. She got in touch with me through Facebook, and she explained to me some of the circumstance that she was in some time back. It appears that she was in a very toxic relationship. According to her, the person that she was with was mentally torturing her, physically beating her. And well, the element that was very disturbing in this email was that she was explaining her circumstances and all the bad things that were happening to her. She explained, and she would puncture it by saying that she did not protest or say anything because, uh, according to Shastra, women are not supposed to speak out, voice what they are going through. So she said he would do this, but I kept silent. And then he was doing that, but I did not say anything. So her email, it was a bit confusing because at one point she was appreciative of the kind of talks that I've been giving, but I could not understand whether she was being sarcastic because then she kind of implied that she was trying to follow it, but it did not serve her well. And at some point in her email, she also wrote that the person she was with, she addresses him as Prabhu. So I assume he was following some form. He was following devotional practice in some way or the other. And she said that he was your follower, and he would often quote Shastra and things at her to justify her behavior. So it was all quite disturbing because this, at no point have I said things which should make a person mistreat another person. And this is a problem because this is the reason that people in general, devotees included, are wary of following traditional culture or Varnashram because their fear is that it leads to mistreatment of women, particularly, and in some cases, even children. So I wanted to address this because this is a gross misunderstanding. Srila Prabhupada himself writes in Bhagavad Gita purport where he talks about how women are not to be given independence. And one of the purports, which is chapter 16, verse 7, he says women are not to be given independence. That does not mean that women are to be kept as slaves. And I hope I have emphasized this enough whenever I've talked about this topic, but clearly that has not either registered with some people or they choose to ignore it. But I wanted to make this very clear that no, Shastras do not say that any individual should suffer abuse silently. There are ways to address it, which some guidelines may be given in Shastra or those who understand culture. So it is emphasized that things should, an etiquette should be followed. So there are ways to address it. That means that if somebody is undergoing problems, they can escalate it to an authority. They can even try to reason with the person who is misbehaving. In case of a husband and wife, the wife can express, because it may even happen. Of course, physical beating is a very gross form of mistreatment, but we're talking about other kind of abuse where a person may be very viciously verbally lashing out at someone. So it does not mean that you just have to remain quiet and endlessly suffer, suffer, suffer. No one will give that advice. I don't think you will find that in any of Srila Prabhupada's talks or lectures or personal conversations or in his books that yes, women should be treated like a secondary human being. So that is not there. And if some people use that as an excuse, that's that's very unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that these are the kind of things that give the entire principle a bad name. So when Srila Prabhupada is talking about women being protected, or when some of his followers are emphasizing that point, it goes without saying that they're not saying protect them from the outside elements and you can treat them as you wish. Absolutely not. So in the first place, my lectures are mostly directed towards women. So if men are listening to it and misusing it, it's on them. But even if they are listening to it, I don't think at any point I harp on this principle of being submissive or being chaste without also explaining that it should not be understood or taken to the other extreme, where it means that anybody can do anything and you as a submissive person have to just tolerate that. That is not the meaning. So I'm putting this video again to emphasize and request that do not twist the words of Shastra, because that will take us far, far away from this culture. And then we all are the losers. Everybody suffers, the women, the children, the men. And please do not think that people who are advocating this have some hidden agenda. Maybe some people do, but at least the people that the devotees that I have learned from are saintly individuals, and it is clear from their words, from their actions, that they have the in their hearts they only wish well for everybody, men and women. So they don't have the agenda. They're not women haters, and that's why they're saying, "Oh, we want all the men to kind of, um, keep the women in check, and so that they have the freedom to do, say, act as they like, and the women should just remain quiet." This is not Vedic culture. Vedic culture is that the men have good behavior and the women have good behavior towards them out of respect. So it's on both the individuals to behave. Nobody is giving a free ticket to the men to mistreat the women. This has never been said by any saintly devotee under any context that, oh, under this circumstance, you can, really teach the wife a lesson. No, this is not Vedic culture. It's demoniac culture. Nobody's condoning that. I'm very upset to hear things like this and to hear that despite so many efforts to give a balanced presentation, still such things are thrown at my face that, oh, because of you, I went through this, and people who are following you are doing this. This is not my message. Hare Krishna.